Yo guys, it's Griff here, and this is my first ever video. I just want to do a quick introduction that I'm here, a vlogging, football channel, gaming channel, many different sports. Anything you drop in the comments, I'll do it, I'll try and do it. So we'll go and start with the predictions now. So the first team I think will get relegated is Sheffield United in 20th place. I just feel like Sheffield United don't have enough squad depth this season. I think they've got I like Paul Heckingbottom. I've rate him, but I just don't think the squad has enough to stay up in the division this year. That's my personal preference. Maybe they'll shock a few, maybe they'll be like Fulham, like everyone didn't expect them, but I just don't feel they've got enough in the tank to stay up this season, and I don't think they'll spend enough to be able to bring in good enough players to be able to change how everyone thinks they'll do in the league. Because maybe I'm wrong and maybe they will stay up, but personally I don't think I'm wrong. I think they will finish last, but I think they'll give it a go, but just won't have enough. Next, in 19th is Bournemouth. Bournemouth, obviously last year, they did really well. I was surprised that they did stay up because obviously everyone thought they were going to go down, and I thought personally they're going to go down. But then they somehow stayed up, and wow, that was brilliant. But this year, I would have said the same. But sacking their manager, Gary O'Neill, who's done a brilliant job at Bournemouth, just now to be left out for no reason for a new manager, I feel like they can't come back from that, and I just feel they'll go down. They have got some quality players, but I just don't feel that they will do well this season. I think if they would have kept Gary O'Neill, I think maybe they could stay up, but just no, I don't rate their chances anymore after that. The next team is Everton in 18th. I really do like Everton. I rate the fan base they've got there. I just feel like they won't do it. I just feel they haven't got enough in the tank. Sean Dyche, great manager, Brexit. But I just feel like they don't have it. Obviously, these are my early predictions, so everything could change. Because Everton, last year they did stay up, but I just feel like their luck is run out now. I think they were lucky that Leicester, my team, one of my teams that have gone down, didn't perform. But this year, I feel like they won't get the luck that they need. I think Goodison Park, tough place to visit. They've got great fans. I really do rate Everton. It's got some quality players like Damari Gray. Used to play for Leicester. We've got Jordan Pickford, great goalkeeper. But I just don't feel like they've got enough this year, especially with the quality of the teams coming up from the league under the Championship. I feel that their luck is going to run out. The next team is Luton Town. I love Kenilworth Road. I've got a few friends that are Luton fans, but I just feel like Luton will have enough to stay up. Yes, it's controversial. Yes, they just got up from the Championship, but yes, they're going to stay up. It won't be easy, no way, especially with the new stand being built for Luton. But I feel like they do have enough. A good manager, some good players like Adebayo, Charlton Morris, and other players will have enough to keep them up this season. I think they've got a quality. The fans, I think they're good enough to be able to cheer on the team through the tough times they may have in the Premier League, and I feel that they do have enough to stay up. Next up is Burnley. I really rate Vincent Kompany. I love the man. He brings a lot of energy, obviously, ex-Man City player. I feel like they have got enough to stay up in the league this year, and I think they might do it comfortably. I feel like Turf Moor is not an easy place to visit, but I feel like they'll do it this season. They've got enough in the tank, I think, to last the whole season in the Premier League. And even next year, if they do some smart business, you never know what could happen. Next up is Wolves. I like Wolves. I rate the manager. Obviously, I can't say his name, it's complicated, but I rate Wolves. They're very good. A few of their players might leave. It won't be easy for Wolves, I don't think, but I think they will get over the line. They've got enough. And if Ruben Neves leaves, it could be tough. But then Jose Sar's there, and they've got many other good players. I think we'll just be able to keep them up afloat this season, and maybe carry on next season, hopefully, and improve from there, I think. Next up is West Ham. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of West Ham, but I do think West Ham will stay up this season. I think, especially after winning the Conference League with David Moyes, I think they'll maybe try and move on a bit. But they wouldn't surprise me if they did well, but they could do badly too. Depends if Moyes can keep the squad in line and everyone happy, especially if Declan Rice leaves, then it could be tougher. But I don't know, I feel West Ham do have enough to keep themselves up this season. Next up is Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest will finish 13th and will do well this season. I think obviously I rate Forest. Yes, I'm a Leicester fan, but I feel like it's just an early prediction that Forest will do well this season. Obviously everything can change, but I think Forest will have enough this season to do well. With Steve Cooper, and obviously I love Brennan Johnson, the Welshman. I think he's got enough to keep him up this season, and I think they'll do well actually. I do rate them. Next up is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have a great squad. I love Elise, ex-Reading player. I love the squad. I really hope Zaha stays. Great quality. Selhurst Park, a really tough place to visit. And obviously the academy's really good there. Could bring up a few new players. So I think they'll do well this season. And I think they'll finish 12th. And I think they'll be happy with that. Maybe if they can do a few new key signings, that they might stay up. And never know what could happen next season after that. Next up is Brentford. I really rate Brentford. I love Thomas Frank. I really rate them. I love the fans. Really welcoming stadium. Nice place. I really like the stadium. Everyone's welcoming when you go there. And Brentford, obviously, Ivan Toney might not be playing this season. I'm sure Mbeumo and Raya will do enough to be able to keep them up this season. And I think they'll do well. A mid-table finish would be decent for them. Maybe they'd like to push on for that Europa Conference League position. I don't know, because I'm not a Brentford fan. But it won't be easy, but I think they'll be fine this season. I think they will be fine. Then there is Fulham. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Fulham. I just feel like they don't. I think they're a good squad, but I just feel like they're charging high prices for a decent stadium. Yeah, I like Craven Cottage. Season ticket prices are ridiculous there, but I feel like that Mitrovic will be able to keep them up and keep them safe, and the Fulham fans will go home happy from their expensive trip. But I feel like they'll do enough this year to get a solid mid-table finish. But it could all go wrong, but I just don't feel like it will. I feel like they've got enough to keep them in the league this season. I just feel like that will, keep them up, and hopefully they will have enough in the tank this season. Next up is Big Bad Brighton. Obviously, I love Luke Lankester, Brighton vlogger, and I feel like Brighton will have enough to even do well in the European tour this season, but I just feel like it'll be a tough keeping both the European and the Premier League. So that's why I don't think they'll beat Villa to the Conference League this season. But I do think they'll do well. They've also got some good young talent, some really good players, and love the manager there. I really rate their chances of doing well this season. Next up is the Aston Villa boys. I think they'll do well this season. Ollie Watkins, I think he's got enough in him to keep them up this season. I think they'll do well. I think they'll have enough, and the European tour will be good this season, and that will keep them safe. Next up is Chelsea. I don't know, I feel like it'll all go wrong for Chelsea this season. Maybe they'll struggle a bit, but they will do okay. With the new signings and Cuckoo obviously staying, I think they'll do okay. But I don't think they'll have enough to be able to get the placing they really want. But it'll be okay for them. Next up, if you can see it, it's Tottenham Hotspur. My granddad is obviously a Tottenham fan, so I won't be biased to Tottenham. I think it won't be easy, but Tottenham are a decent side. If Harry Kane stays, it might be easier for them, but then it won't be easy anyway, because Tottenham might struggle with the pressures of the expectation everyone has depends on what players they sign. But I do think the new manager will, the new Celtic boss will, from going to Tottenham, will bring in enough stability to the squad, and maybe they can even push on for a first cup, honestly. And then next up is Brighton. No, next up is Newcastle. Newcastle, I think with the Saudi owners, will get another Champions League tour. I think, honestly, they'll do well this season. I think they've got enough to keep themselves up. And honestly, they've got enough to do okay this season. And I think, obviously, Miguel Almiron, the Saudi owners, might be able to do enough this season to keep him up. And hopefully keep him in that Champions League position to maybe even get to the quarter-finals in the Champions League and push on even more. But there's not much to say about Newcastle. Rate the fan. Obviously, I think they're better than Sunderland fan-wise, and I think they'll be alright this season. Next up is Liverpool. Liverpool, you'll never walk alone. Yes, you'll never walk alone when you're there. But obviously, they're great fans, great players. Salah, I love Jurgen Klopp, and I think they'll do enough this season to be able to keep this new Champions League position, and I think they'll do really well, honestly. Trent obviously been performing in pre-season for England, and I think they'll do well this season, and that's all I have to say for Liverpool. But they could even push for the Champions League, but that's enough about Liverpool. Moving up to Man United. Man United have enough in the tank to finish third again. I feel like they've got enough, and they'll do well this season. I think third position with Bruno Fernandes and the quality of players they have with Ten Hag, they will do enough this season. But it won't be easy, but Man United will be good, and Speed will be happy if Ronaldo goes back, and that's the only problem. But here is the controversial part. Man City finishing in second. Yes, you heard it here. Yes, they won't finish first. I feel like Gundogan will be a big loss to Man City. But I feel like a second, will they be satisfied? I'm not too sure. But it won't be easy for Man City, because I feel like Arsenal are really going to go for it this year, and I feel like they're going to get it. Arsenal are going to get it. And Manchester won't be blue, it won't be red. London will be red. And you heard it here. I think Haaland will obviously perform. He might even get the Ballon d'Or, but I just don't feel like he's got enough to bring them over the line. But last but not least, the big men from Arsenal, the Premier League champions, Arsenal. Yes, you heard it here first. Arsenal are getting Champions League football. Yes, I know it. You think it may sound stupid, but Arsenal, I think they will finish in first, and they have enough to be able to get over the line and will be able to provide the Premier League title in the first time for a while. I think they've got really good fans. I think they've got enough in the tank, and that's all I have to say about the Premier League. Obviously, Jesus, Haaland, obviously there'll be many players that will be able to carry their teams. But obviously these are early predictions, so don't only take them as a pinch of salt. They won't be. I'll bring out my full predictions later on in a few months, and I think these are right, but everything can change with the new signings. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. It's been Griff, and I'm out.